Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video we're going to continue this little series that we've made for this little Amazon anvil, the cheap little 66 pounder that you can find on Amazon, and you can also find it over on eBay. I'll put links, affiliate links down in the description down below if you want to take and read up on it of what this type of anvil is. So we've done a cleanup video, we've done making a wooden stump for it, a stand for it, and now we need to make some tooling for it. Well, if we make some tooling for it, we're going to need a place to store that tooling on our anvil stand or our anvil stump that we made. And the quickest way that you can do this, and very handy, is to make it out of some tubing. So this is just mild steel tubing. You can get it any of your, it's just a box standard tubing. It's not something special or elaborate. The one key thing to note here is the size. The internal size here. The ID is going to matter more than the OD. So this pipe here, this tubing is 1 inch OD, that's outside diameter, so that's 25 mil outside dimensions. And then it's fairly thick. I didn't measure the thickness, but it is 3/4 inch inside dimension. It's just a tad over 3/4 of an inch on the ID, and that's important because the Hardy tools that we make for this little cheap Amazon anvil, they're only 5/8 square. So we need to be able to have some place that we can put that in and it fits nicely and it doesn't just allow the tool to drop right through. So it sits nicely on our shoulder. Now, the reason why you don't want this to be exactly 5/8 is because the tooling, if it's sitting up against the anvil or whatever, if it overhangs this by a bunch, maybe it's a scroll starter or something like that, you don't want that to bind on the wood block and never actually be able to fit, see, inside the tooling. This has just enough wiggle room that if it's got a little bit of bindage, it will still sit down in the holder itself because it has some wiggle room. So that's one of the key features of this here. So I'll go ahead and give you those measurements again in metric. It is 25 mil square by 20 mil square internally. The piece of the tool holder is going to be 2 1/4 inches long in total. That's the entire length of the tool holder. And so that antiquates out or works out to 56 millimeters for you guys there across the pond, guys and gals. The holder portion itself is laid out at exactly 1 1/4 inches or 31 to 32 millimeter, right in that range for what's going to actually hold the tool. And then we will have a 45-degree cut across these lines. So that means this area here's 1 inch, that's 1 1/4 inches. Or that's 31 millimeters and that's 25 millimeters, respectively, if you will there. I just messed that up, didn't I? I think I did. Just joking. I checked my math. Don't do math on camera, ladies and gents. Don't do math on camera. I'm learning, see? It's only taken 1,350 videos to figure this one out. Yeah, so that's correct. That is, again, 31 millimeter. That's 25 millimeter there for you across the pond. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. We're going to cut this. We're going to get this cut, and I'll show you how to lay this out. Then we'll cut it, get it drilled, and I'll show you the rest. Okay, in order to lay this out, I like using a flat rule like so. You can choose to do whatever you like, but I like to use a nice flat ruler. I find it to be a little bit more accurate than a tape measure. We are also going to be using a silver marking pencil. I'll put a little affiliate link down there in the description for this as well, so you can go check that out. But we will go ahead and mark this out at 1 1/4 inch, and then we are going to mark this out at 2 1/4 inches. And then, for you guys doing metric, you can follow along with the things on the back table here. So after we do that, we're going to use a straight edge of any kind. I like using a speed square for this purpose. I find that it makes it very fast and adequate. And then, again, not much to it other than to do it. Line up the top of your speed square with this portion and then over here. It doesn't really matter which way you go. You're going to cut this off anyhow, so it doesn't matter. but just make sure it goes right across there. So you want to have a nice 45-degree angle across it. And that's it. You don't need to mark it all the way around. You're only going to be cutting from one side, so you really only need your layout marks from the top side or the viewing angle. So let's go over to the, we'll go over to the bandsaw and get this cut. Okie doke. So there we are. We have this little thing done. Doesn't look like much. Didn't take real long at all. Let me go over and grab this. Now hopefully you can see how this will interact. Just like so. And you can see how it kind of doesn't quite sit down flush with the shoulder, which is good. It doesn't need to. We need it to slightly pitch our tooling out, so this way we can easily pick it up and put it back. If it laid perfectly flush with the block or with the stump, it'd be a little harder to take and grip out. We need it to actually sit out like so, so that really works out great. The next step in this process is you can paint this, you can wire wheel this, you can turn this, you really do whatever you want, but my preferred method of finishing right now these days is actually using some of this Loctite extend rust neutralizer type stuff. Basically, it's the same stuff I used on the Anvil to turn it all jet black after we wire wheeled all that hideous blue paint off of it. We got rid of all the blue paint, and then I sprayed it with this, and it turned it all that nice jet black color. It looks a lot more professional, in my opinion, when it comes down to things like that. But I'll read a little bit on here. Again, this isn't a sponsored video, but I have used this product, kind of stumbled upon it. It's like an excellent thing. And I have been using the heck out of this stuff around the shop, and it does a really good job of preventing future rust. Like so far that I have found, it doesn't just instantly rust back, especially when you spray down the tool afterwards with a little bit of WD-40. Yeah, that and a combination of this is working out really well so far. But anyway, so it says converts light rust into a paintable surface. Body, frame, rims, hitches, iron railings, antiques, bicycles, tools, and more. I guess I'm part of that the tools and more crowd. But anyways, works really good. It just turns everything to a neutral black surface. I will also put an affiliate link down in the description for this if you want to check it out and read up on it. There's a lot of other brands that make this stuff, so be sure to check them out. But anyways, we are going to go ahead and spray this and hopefully convert that rust to a black. It does take quite some time in actual temperatures that aren't breath worthy, so it'll take a little while to turn this completely black, probably longer than what this video will hold. But anyways, we'll spray this down, and once it's dry, we will actually mount it to the anvil stump itself. Okie doke, everyone, here we are sitting at this little 66-pound anvil here. It's all mounted up nice and pretty. If you guys haven't seen the videos on this, I did a video tutorial on how to build this stand, and I also did a tutorial on how to properly mount this anvil to take and help eliminate certain ring issues and just make it really secure so it's really good for travel. As you can see, I've already got some mounting pieces already. Nice. They're already on there. So let's go ahead and conclude this up, and I'll share a few thoughts here with you. So here's the pieces. I've got them sprayed. They haven't quite turned black yet. It takes a while with that rust preventative stuff to actually work. And like I said, warmer temperatures really do help. But now what we need to do is we actually need to space these. I like to space these right now at about a ½ an inch apart, or about 12.5 millimeter apart. I also like to line up the top leading edge with the edge of the anvil. Now this is just a personal preference. Again, you can do however you like. One advantage to doing these here, doing it this way, making these this way, I'll share with you, is the fact that you don't have to just stick to it all being in a row. I like doing that, but you could come down here with a tool if you needed, or mount another tool almost directly underneath. You could set one way down here. You can really place this thing wherever you want on the block, whatever makes sense for the type of tooling that you're holding. So one other option is, instead of having it sit like this, you can flip it upside down if you really do want the tool, especially for these top tools. Let me set this drill down here to sit flush at the front of the anvil and sit on top of that square. So you could definitely do it that way. I like doing it this way. Again, like I said, it provides just a little bit of wedging action to kind of tilt these things out in order for me to pull them out. So I'm keeping it like this, but you could certainly do it like this as well. That is an option. But yeah, so keep these about ½ inch spacing apart. That's kind of the main key. One of the last things I will tell you about this anvil block design and the way I'm doing these tool holders here is that you want to keep your tools. Sorry, a man really shouldn't multitask. My brain shuts off as I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. Anyways, you should keep the tools that you use most on the user side of the anvil. Meaning, like on my large stand around Olga, I have tooling on the front, the back, the left, and the right. And I keep all the tools that I use most often on the user side of the anvil, where I stand. So this way I can just pick up, drop my hardy tool in the hardy hole, and right back down. If I use the Bic a lot, it goes down there. Again, right where I can just very easily pick it up, throw it on the anvil, and get going. That way I'm not hunting around the dark side of the anvil, you know, over here under the horn, or maybe over here under the horn, to actually find this tooling. Now the less important tools, they go around the front and underneath the anvil and down lower. My steel stand only has one bar or one rack for tooling. With a wooden stand like this, the big advantage is you can put multiple racks of tooling on the stand and have everything very close at hand. It's a very efficient way of doing it. So let's go ahead and get the rest of these mounted up here. Of course, you gotta drop it. Gotta drop something at least once, otherwise you're not doing it right. So again, I like to have, drop it. 3 times, 4 times, what, about 5? Maybe 5 times? Let's do 5th time. 5th time is the charm. Again, mount these at your leisure. Put them where you like. Sometimes that's not going to work. It's not going to work on several occasions. It was crooked. Get that straight and then mount it. There we go. Somewhat straighter. Anyways, yeah. Sometimes you may want to take and mount this down a lot lower or up higher, or you might want this spacing to be a lot further apart depending on what type of tooling you're putting in here. Right now I don't have anything awkward in here, but say if I had, I may not like to have my file in here, maybe the handles hit or something like that. But again, you can store files this way, you can do a lot of different stuff. But say if you had a solid rack here, then you would be in, you know, you'd be influencing that. So now you can just set your tooling all the way around and it really adjust this stand the way you want it. But that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. You guys have seen enough. Hell, probably a bunch of you just jumped off the video and disappeared by now. So if you made it to this portion of the video and the end of the video, say, hey, I made it. That way I know who's my true dedicated subscribers out there. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for supporting the channel with your watch time and your views and stuff like that. I do greatly appreciate it. And really just can't thank you enough. And at any rate, as you guys know, God bless you. And like always, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.